Yo, what's going on? It's your man Ryan Righteous of the Trackstarz. You know what time it is. We are here for the Independent Artist Spotlight. I got Kinfolk with me. Kash Memphis.
When I'm in my feelings, when I'm in my feelings, why does it seem like I gotta keep fighting myself? Gotta be kind of rewind, keep reminding myself. Every day's a new day, hey, new shining grind, driving in a new lane.
What's going on, fam?
What's good, brother? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm excited to talk to you. There's so much about your story that I want to get into, but I just want to first congratulate you on the single release for But God. It's
Yes,
doing
sir.
really good on Spotify. Talk about the single and how you came about it and what you were expecting it to do.
Well, this one actually came on late, and so for about 6 months, I sat in this process of, well, maybe things aren't going exactly the way I planned them, and how do I get out of this, God, or to be in
Okay.
a particular situation,
Hmm.
and you see God start lining things up in your life, and you're like, wait a minute, how that? There's no other way but God that could have happened,
Right. Right.
but
Right.
God. And so you hear this in not only church circles, but it might sound like a Christianese if some sense, but to say that,
Hmm.
but God is this phrase. Well, but God, but God, but God. And so I just seen that a lot in my life with God working through me in my process of sitting alone with Him and
Hmm.
going through some stuff. And it's just like, okay. And it kind of just assured my journey. And I'm like, well, that's got to be not only a single, but it's got to be an album.
That's amazing, man. I love it. I love it. So, okay, talk to me about your story of redemption, right? God has brought you through some things. You're actually coming off of a story of loss where God restored everything just like Job did in the Bible. Talk about that process, what you went through, and where God has brought you to right now.
So the best way for all your listeners and your people, um, the best way to understand is, let me go back to my military days, is that
Yeah.
I experienced physical brokenness. And then
Okay.
along the way, I experienced financial brokenness,
Wow.
spiritual brokenness. And there's this process that goes into that that's kind of like, if I were to identify it in key terms, it would be brokenness. And so I identify well with broken people. And so really it's built around that.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I love that. So you're a very gentle spirit. People tell you that a lot. You're a gentle
It's,
soul.
I try, but sometimes people will tell me on the opposite and they're like, man, you're really aggressive. But that's just me getting excited when I get excited.
Maybe it's the transformation that God has done in your life, but you just don't strike me as a sergeant in the military. Like it just, I would
No.
expect you to be like more, like.
Well, when I have to play dad, drill sergeant comes out, right? And
Yes.
so, I can, I don't hear that a lot, and I'll take that as a compliment and as a God
Hmm.
thing because I
Absolutely.
think sometimes people see part of that where it's like you wonder, why don't I fit in a room, or and so I equate that to that brokenness journey that I've gone through. They say this old quote that, um, you haven't experienced the hell that it took to be this gentle,
Exactly. Exactly. I
and I
understand that
attribute that to
completely.
God, man.
Man, that's amazing. So you came out of your story, your situation. God redeemed you. He gave you this calling over your life to start doing this music that had been in your heart for all these years. You started Purple Kodak Records. Talk about that journey of starting your own label and just like really stepping out there. What has that been like for you?
So when I started all of this was coming off of, a crisis in my life,
Hmm.
and so a lot of people, if you go all the way back, when I started rapping and I started singing, I
Hmm.
had just gotten fired from the church. And
I heard about
so
that.
I kind of lost everything in the physical sense. And so it was out of kind of frustration and passion of, Lord, I've done all this. Now, what am I going to do? And he gave me a dream to start Kodak Purple, to become Kash Memphis inside and out, and just use that story of brokenness to proclaim him. And so what it was really like is it's been a real personal journey. But it's also been a journey of a lot of yays and a lot of no's. And so you learn to enjoy the yays and you praise God because you see what he's doing. And so, you know, just starting that, it's kind of grassroots. And I think God is has not only done, but starting to do amazing things with it.
Oh man, I love that. I love that. When you said you were a pastor, you got fired and you lost everything, are you talking about just like the tangibles or the intangibles? What did you lose?
I lost all the tangibles and I gained all the intangibles, because here you have this guy who was broken physically, got retired from the military, okay, and then he goes to be a pastors for 6-7 years, and coming out of the military struggled with substance abuse because of the physical brokenness. And then those were kind of used against me. And so I lost all of the tangibles, but I learned all the intangibles of, wait a minute, this is the bigger part of the picture. And I couldn't see it then, but just to see how God's like, okay, you've been here, you've had this military experience, you've had this church experience on both sides of the pulpit. And so what did I learn from that is I learned that if I'm to be like Jesus, then he wants me to be in the place where he's at, and it's not inside the church. And so I learned that I was better on the outside than I was on the inside. And I learned that all of those experiences are the people who need to hear my message.
Okay, got it. I love that. Okay, so I've listened to the music, I've watched your visuals. Talk to me about the branding. Talk to me about Kinfolk. How did all that get started, and what are you looking to accomplish through that hashtag Kinfolk?
So it would be like if I'm sitting across from you, brother, and I'm like, hey, you know, you Kinfolk, like, you know, like I grew up in the city, and so it's like a brotherhood. It's like if family isn't the red that runs through our veins, sometimes it's who we choose.
Okay.
And so I say that to say Kinfolk is family. And there's a lot of people everywhere that I go that are just family, and they got that same Kinfolk vibe. And so just I initially started all this because I wanted to build my music family, and I always kind of felt like I had a small family. And so, you know, that just kind of became people who listen to my music, or people, you know, if you want to call it the fan club, if so to say, that would be what people would understand it in. But this is just something that I'm trying to build my bigger family. It's like Kinfolk, we're all Kinfolk. And it just creates the conversation of, oh, you part of the family? Yeah, part of the family. You part, okay. And so it's just like trying to build a bigger family for the kingdom. And it's like the sole goal is to ignite dreamers and sleepers. So dreamers being those who have the same dreams that I'm doing now, and those who have not wakened to those dreams and what God has called them to in their life of purpose. So
I love that.
We're all Kinfolk, man.
Did you connect with anybody to do the branding, or is this your own creative design? I saw the t-shirts, I saw the jerseys, the hats. Is that
okay,
all
so I'll give you a neat little story here. So I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I worked with him a while back, and this is when I dropped my single "You Are Enough." And Trackstarz was actually through you guys. Y'all worked on that cover for me. So I was
Dope.
like, yeah, so it's like it's one, it's the adage of two hands reaching out like this,
Yes.
and I don't know if you guys know this, but that song "You Are Enough," that was kind of my launching point, and
Okay.
I got one mainstream Christian radio station to play it, and it was in Green Bay, and
Mm-hmm.
that song went #1 for 8 months. So I worked.
Oh,
I've been knowing track stars for a long time. It's
yeah.
I'm like every artist. I'm trying to get everybody's attention.
Man, I love it. I love it. So tell me about, launching the brand, launching the music, and how your family was supportive and all of that. You've got a wife, it looks like what, 4 boys?
5 boys. My
Five
oldest just
boys.
graduated college. Yeah, so
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm got a little wisdom on my face here.
Congratulations. That's great. That's great. What are the ages?
So my oldest is 18, and then
Okay.
it's 16, then it's 14, 11, and now 9, getting ready to turn 10.
Oh, wow.
All
Okay.
boys. So I'm really blessed that I don't have to pay for too many weddings. But
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. So they were supportive in the brand,
yeah,
in the
well,
launch.
the my wife and our 5 kids, they've been my #1 supporter. So it's a family thing, you
Hmm.
know. And my in-laws were really supportive and have been supportive. Like when
Oh,
I started on this, I was like, where am I gonna get a job? And it was like automatically I knew that dream that God gave me was like full time. I can't take
mm,
nothing less. And so I started grinding immediately. And like
wow.
so so over like 4 years, I went from writing my first single Easy Living to,
Mhm.
well, I'm gonna go on the road and promote it myself. And then I got left on the road. So I, jumped that hurdle. And then it was like, well, I'm gonna write my first album. And then I had to build 2 Amish sheds for my first studio. And so
Oh,
now we're just like we just moved to Nashville just shy of about a year and a half ago.
okay.
And so I toured the last 2 summers,
Okay.
and those are the 7 people that have made that happen. Like my wife, our kids, and her parents. They've been at every stop.
I love that. I love that. That is a amazing story. I know that uh, the music goes beyond what we've been able to learn about you. Talk about you
Absolutely.
as an individual. What is it that you're chasing after? What is it that you like doing? What's the impact that you want to have for the kingdom overall?
So let me give you just a short story of it. It's like,
Okay.
so last year, after I had toured last summer, I
Hmm.
was like, oh Lord, what am I going to do? Oh,
Hmm.
just things are. And so I ended up, while I'm recording and finishing up the album, I am working as a permanent substitute teacher in our middle school where we live.
Oh.
And at this point, I had had just enough of people knew who Cash Memphis was.
Hmm.
And like if you said, well, hey, what's your name, substitute teacher? You'd be like, I go by Cash Memphis. And I told him going in, this is who I am. And so I was in a public middle school,
Hmm.
and kids were saying, you're Cash Memphis, aren't you? No, you ain't. Hey, you rap, don't you? I told my friend over there you rap, he don't believe me. And then
Yeah.
it starts opening up the conversation. You're like, yeah, but, and then you have one kid in the back who likes to chime in. He's like, yeah, he raps about Jesus, let it be known. And they're like, do
Mm.
you rap about Jesus? And so it opens up the conversation. I have yet to just introduce myself.
Yeah.
And it was during that time that I realized, like, whoa, that's what I'm chasing.
Hmm.
Watching, I'm sorry, bro. Watching young people ask that question, and then the whole time that you've been working at this,
Mm.
you can now go for the gold. That's the gold. It's like, yeah. And then it opens up the conversation of, well, who is Jesus? What is Jesus? And I'm gonna tell you what, I'll proudly say this. I think they said, well, we're not bringing this exact position back next year, but we love everything you do. And that was me, God letting me know that like they couldn't handle what's happening there, and it was time for promotion. And so it was like, as I walked out of school that year, I went immediately on tour for the summer, just got off, and now I'm like, God, we got to make this happen. There are just people dying and going to hell, and there's a lot of people not doing much about it.
Wow.
And so like, I got to get face to face with people, because when I do, special things happen.
Oh, wow. Speaking of face to face, what you got going on tomorrow?
Nothing.
I got a ticket for you to come hang out with me at the Smoke Fest. No Big Deal, Indie Tribe, all those guys. You can have the 2-day ticket, but I'm only
Dilly's my man from Murfreesboro, so I'm only about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Murfreesboro. I stay on the north side of Tennessee, right next to the military base. But yes, I'd love to come, man.
Yeah. I have an extra ticket, so I would love for you to join me there.
But I promise I'll be on time.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. We'll be. So I'm only gonna be there for 1 day. I'm driving up to Nashville tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'm only gonna be up there for 1 day, but my name is on the guest list, and I secured 5 passes, and I have an extra one. Okay. So I would love for you to come kick it with us.
Hey, I would definitely love to. And what time frame are we looking at?
It's from like 4:30 to 9:30.
Okay.
Maybe a little longer on the concert, but I gotta head back to Atlanta so I can be back in Atlanta by Saturday morning.
Sounds good, man.
Driving up, driving back.
That's tomorrow. Okay.
That's tomorrow. Yep. Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep.
So are you gonna meet at like a certain time? Like, do you want me to?
You know what? I'm just driving straight to the venue. So whenever
what I'll do, I'll email you my number.
Okay, yeah, please do that.
Just text me.
Do that. This would be great. Yeah. I would definitely love to connect with you in person. I just feel like I said, in mentioning earlier and watching some of your other interviews, you're a gentle soul, gentle spirit. Definitely want to get to know you more. I really appreciate you rocking with Trackstarz.
Hey, man.
For all these years. I was going back in my search history and I was like, wow, submission by Kash. And then I was just like, wow, single maximizer. Like, he really does support the brand. So we really.
And the thing is like, and I'm going to tout this one, because if you go back and you look at where my people was rocking with me, right, with You Are Enough, and I think it was We Made It. It was on Rapzilla, because I had did a promotion, I think, through Trackstarz.
I saw that.
And 2 of them got picked up, and I got voted in the top. So I was like, I hit their playlist for a little bit, and I was like, okay.
I saw that on your social medias. I was like, okay, shout out to.
So I'm trying.
You're doing a great job. Great job. No, but I really appreciate this time that you took to do the Independent Artist Spotlight with me. Tell everybody where they can find you on social medias, how they can connect with you, how they can support.
Okay, so you can check me. Basically, you can Google Kash Memphis if that makes it easier for you. You Google me, I'm going to pop up. They know me. You guys should know me. If you don't, you can search The Kash Memphis or Kash Memphis, and I will pop up. You can follow me. I'm mostly on IG and Facebook because that's where all the love is, but you can also find me on TikTok. We're global, baby. We're global.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time, Kash. This is Ryan Righteous with the exclusive of Kash Memphis on the Independent Artist Spotlight. You know what time it is. You're in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. That was amazing.